Welcome to Euclid Ave. I'm Melvin Harris, and today we're going to be talking about monogamy. Should men be allowed to have multiple women? I mean, let's just rephrase that. You are allowed to do whatever it is that you want to do, but is it best for men to have multiple women? Maybe one wife and multiple concubines or side pieces or whatever you want to call it. Do men deserve to have that? Now, I come from more of a biblical standpoint where, you should have one wife and that's it. But there are some men out there that believe that men deserve to have multiple women because we run the world. I don't, like I said, I don't side with that, but we're going to go through a couple of videos and walk with a couple of people on their ideology of what they believe in it. Now, before we get into these videos, I want you to know that you can like, share, subscribe, but my main thing is comment. Make sure you comment because I want to know what you feel about the videos and even, how you feel about what I have to say about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take this walk.
I tell guys all the time, you need to have multiple chicks that you're dealing with. Not necessarily because you want to deal with them, but because it keeps you having an abundance mindset so you don't come off needy. Because needy behaviors, a lot of the times, you don't even notice it. It's very subtle. But when you don't give a it's a very natural and relaxed feeling that women can pick up on. Women are very hypersensitive to body language and to mannerisms and to tonality and how you speak. So when you're a guy that has, just women know it immediately by how little you care. That actually makes you way more attractive. And
this is a crazy concept to me. Like the ideology to me, at some point there comes a time in life where you stop playing games. The way that he's talking about it is as if he's just this big player dude and women gonna want you because there are multiple women who are after you anyway. So they don't have any self-control or they don't care about anything else in life but to please you because you are the guy. You are the one running things. Now, just from looking at him, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. And other men don't know that. Not saying that you're trying to get with other men or any of that. Not trying to say that. But what makes you think that you deserve multiple women? What do you bring to their life? Because starting off, you're talking about not caring. And if you don't care about the woman, she's going to want you more because that's some sort of emotional trait that women are attracted to. I don't believe that for 1 minute because the women that I've dealt with in the past, they literally want something out of life. And it seems like the women that you deal with, they got to be like clueless or they got to be about money because the only thing that you could possibly provide for multiple women is finance. And you have to be able to uphold that. Now, if you don't have some sort of, I don't know, stake in life or like you're not a big person, you're not a CEO, you're not running a business that's successful, how are you maintaining your income? Are you like the big shot at your job to be able to continue to maintain this lifestyle? Or if your job was taken away today, would you still be that person that deserves a lot of women? See what I'm saying? Men seem to feel like just because you're a man and your fleshly desire is to have sex with multiple women that you get to do that. Now, this is no different than everybody else is saying. This is saying that because I feel this way and because I like the way that feels, that I deserve that. We were made for women. They were made for us to have at our disposal. Now, like I said, just from the beginning, he seems like totally clueless about everything. Maybe he didn't have a lot of attention growing up or whatever, but the way he's just starting off talking about women is truly you have to deal with a certain woman because they're not going to be attracted to you because of your like aura, what you got coming off from the beginning. Plus, like I said, you seem too old to be talking about this, bro. Like, if you're still talking about men should have multiple women and you're not living the life, it's not for you. Like, figure something else out.
Women cannot teach you that. That's why I always say female dating coaches are retards, because they don't understand pre-selection. They'll sit there and tell you, just be nice to her, be monogamous. But in reality, being monogamous actually makes you less attractive to a bunch of women. Now, am I sitting here saying go f a bunch of girls? No. But your girl needs to know that you can do it and you reserve the right to do it if she acts up. Women only behave when they know they can be replaced. They're terrible people.
So she can't act up because you have the ability to go out and get with other women. And that's dependent on what? That's dependent on if you still got the status to be able to call that, but you have to be dealing with a woman who doesn't know how to get things for herself financially, because you're not speaking of, you're speaking of someone who has low self-esteem. You just said, like, if she messes up, she has to know that you're able to go out and do whatever it is you want to. For what? If she isn't making any money, she's only with you because you provide everything financially. If she has low self-esteem, there's something that you have to be doing in order to make her feel like she loves you. Like, you have to pick up her self-esteem in some aspect. Or are you just being a butthole to her? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're continuing to make her feel worse about herself to the point that she's not going to get any other man. So you got to be somebody who's manipulative or narcissistic, because there's something that you're doing to this woman for her to feel like there's nothing else she can do in life. I mean, that's pretty clear, because you can't be messing with a woman who has her own money and the only thing she needs is companionship. She doesn't need other women to be around. So you have to be talking about a woman who's down on herself. That's pretty much what I get from you. He's talking. It's the dumbest thing. I'm not going to lie. Probably one of the dumbest things I've heard. And there are a lot of men out there for some reason, they think that they deserve this, but he hasn't said what he would like, the reason for him being able to call these shots. You're just saying it because you're a man. Now, to be fair, this is just a clip, but it's got to be some, wannabe alpha man. Because alpha men don't go around saying stuff like this. You don't have to. You're a natural leader. You don't have to convince people that men need multiple women. Usually when you're a monogamous man and you treat your wife or girlfriend or whatever right, other women look at you as if they want you anyway because you treat that woman right. They can be with men who are like you, who think that they're supposed to just get something out of women. And women are supposed to cater to them just because they're a man with a good job. And that's not the case. As soon as they find somebody on the job or at the gym or wherever that treats them differently, or they can be themselves around that person, they're going to leave you. And that's just how it goes. But I mean, just to get started off on these videos, I don't necessarily think this dude is anyone that a woman would probably want in the first place. Like I said, she got to be down on herself and have low self-esteem, because this ain't it, my boy. And you too old. Like, just get married or something, bro.
When they have leverage, because they don't know how to appreciate it, because they get all this attention and validation all day from fucking simps. They don't respect the majority of men, so you have to make that respect you. And the only way you make her respect you isn't through violence, it's through being able to walk away. It's the only way that you're going to get women to respect you.
That's the end of it, but that makes no sense. The only way to get them to respect you is to be able to walk away. That pretty much sums it up, that you're talking to women with low self-esteem. You are really going out there looking for women who have low self-esteem, because you have to manipulate their mind. Like, it's a give or take kind of thing. Like, I'm giving you attention, but as soon as you do something that I don't like, I'm going to take it away from you. But during that process, now, if you just normally you just being yourself and talking to a woman, it seems like she would just be able to not really care if you walked off. You have to be doing something to her in that time that you meet her and the time that you threaten to leave. She has to be clinging to you so much that she feels like losing you is losing her life. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to basically get her to stop dealing with her friends, stop dealing with her family, stop going to her job, um, stop having ideas, stop having ambitions, and to cater to you. You have to make her stop feeling as if she's beautiful, as if she's worth it, as if she's intelligent. You have to be doing those things, because from point A, you're talking about, you're not saying that you need to go out there and have sex with multiple women. But then when you get to point D, Z, or whatever, now you're talking about if she has to know that if she acts up, that you can leave. That's the only way that you're going to keep her in check or keep her in control or whatever you want to do. That means those between point A and whatever point you got to, that's your end game. You had to be doing something to make her feel like she was less than herself. Right? So you're dealing with a woman who has low self-esteem, either from the beginning, or it's going to be easy for you to manipulate her. But you are a narcissist. We can say that, because you're talking about control, and I'm guaranteeing if that doesn't work and you're threatening to leave with other women, you're probably not going to have other women. And now you just put out a baseless threat. And if she was to say, okay, go, or she seems like she don't care, what's your next step? Because you call some men simps. You're going to do simp things in your definition. You're going to have to, because she's going to leave you. But you would never have the opportunity to be with such woman because you have the ideology that you do, that you're some big shot or pimp or something like that. I don't know, man. This isn't starting out well for the argument of having many women and defending it. Like, I know there are women who kind of get down like that, but this isn't good for starting it off, because he's not making any sense. And if he's the spokesman for having multiple women, he's not doing a good job at it.
Oh, nigga, you supposed to have your wife and a girlfriend. It makes
off top. This is Charleston White. I'm gonna be very honest. I'm not too big on Charleston White. A lot of people, like, in the black community, they laugh at him because he say crazy things. But I actually saw him with DC Young Fly, and he was talking about how he basically does these things just because. It's just click stuff. That's all he does it for. But we'll see what he have to say about it. But I don't take him serious about a lot. He's not a very serious person. He's just a person that just talks out his butt. That's pretty much all he does.
You treat the best one better out of guilt and shame, but you ain't supposed to have no.
Now, I also will say, excuse the language, because he is known to cuss because he doesn't care about a lot. So, excuse the language. This is only going up on certain platforms, not Facebook.
One woman, no species in nature other than the Western culture mindset of Americans have one woman. The Arab got 4-5 bitches. The Chinese got 3-4 bitches. The African everybody got 2, 3, 4, 5 more bitches, except the American black man who got the white European Western culture mind, because they come from the Queen of England, and they.
This is you a lie. Let's just put this into context. The Western American, African American black man, or however you just put that, for the most part, don't have a lot of stuff together in the first place. A lot of men, and that's not, not a lot of us, but there are some men, the ones who usually have this mindset, are usually sleeping on some woman's couch, or they're driving some woman's car, or they feel like they're too good to even have a job. They feel like they, in this white man's world. I'm not supposed to be in this white man's world doing this anyway. That is their excuse for everything. Men who have something to do in life don't have time to chase multiple women because you got a lot of other stuff to do. That's more important to you. You know what I'm saying? And biblically, if you're leading a woman like you're supposed to, or leading a family and being the head, and God is in your life, none of that matters to you because you're keeping women as a possession. That's pretty much what he's saying right here. That they have multiple women. It doesn't matter what comes with that. It doesn't matter the turmoil or the pitfalls that they have or any of that, the jealousy they have to deal with, none of that. It doesn't matter because some women are going to be jealous in relationships like that. You act like you just going to be the big man every day. How do you handle losing your job? Do you go and you take it out on your multiple partners? How do you losing your job and you got these women because of your status? And now they came to you because of that, right? So now you've lost it and you're going out there trying to get it back together so you don't lose these women. And they're going to look at you like, well, you can't provide the one thing I need because it wasn't emotional stability. It wasn't that. It was finances. That's the only reason that men feel powerful. You're not going to go and find a manager of Checkers and he's going to be like, yeah, I got 7 wives. Why? You don't make them. Why? Why, sir? Do all 7 of y'all have a job? Because no, there is no way that you supporting 7 wives on the amount of money you making. Ain't no way. You got to be talking about somebody who has some sort of status. This brother, no. And these be the people who are quick to say, oh yeah, men should have multiple women. Why? What do you bring to anything? Like the day that people get tired of you is the day that money dries up. There is no long-term gain. You don't own a bunch of restaurants. You don't own a Fortune 500 company. There isn't any money coming back in, which is why you continue to do these things. So if you're not investing your money into anything, why do you feel like people or women will be with you for the long haul? Doesn't seem like you're making good financial decisions, right? So just to get started off, the black man mentality thing and us having that because we have a Western or whatever you want to call it, bro, it's just stupid. Go live there. I've been overseas. Not all of them have that. Some of them have one wife and that's it because that's all they want. That's it. But continue.
Say a nigga don't supposed to have one woman. No man could thrive and be vibrant with just one woman. Supposed to have multiple women.
They ain't even had one woman in the Bible.
Never.
They all
Never
had, like,
through.
See what I'm saying? That's probably just this the last video we watched. That's probably one of the dumbest things I've heard. You can't thrive and be vibrant with one woman. Why not? Like he's not gonna. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna give you an example of how men, like what multiple women, what role do they play in you being vibrant? You feel me? Like, what is the purpose of you having multiple women? No one has explained that yet. Are they like cooking and cleaning, or one is more on the sexual side and the other one is more on the like home side, like she cooks and she cleans, or you got one that takes the kids to the sporting events and recitals and all of that. She's the one that goes to the school and does the teacher parent conferences. Like, is that it? Or do you got another one? She's out there doing the business, so you just sitting back being the king and they catering to you. For what? You know what I'm saying? Like nowhere do I see where people who talk about polygamy or, it's stupid to have one wife. Nowhere do I see them say anything remotely close to a valid reason for that being the basis of their existence. It's not gonna If you have a successful business, it's not going to fall because you got one wife. If you have a successful business, it's not going to fall because you have multiple women. It's going to fall because you did something stupid. So that doesn't help you with this you can't thrive and be vibrant thing. Like I said, Charleston White, y'all, he don't make any sense.
Never throughout history have a great man had one woman. Only the peasant man.
Yes, that don't make any sense, bro. Yes. There are multiple great men that had one wife. And this is what I'm talking about. It's ignorance. Just to be honest. And I don't care how y'all feel about saying that as me being a Christian. This is ignorance. Yes, there are plenty of examples of powerful people, powerful men having one wife. Plenty of examples. But if you look in the Bible, there are men who had multiple relationships, and God didn't tell them to do that. They did. But they also caught strife from that. A lot of them caught strife from that. A lot of them had downfalls because of that. So I asked ChatGPT. I know a lot of people don't care for ChatGPT. They say it's AI and it's the devil and blah, blah, blah. Anything that you use can be used in a form of evil. I just ask it questions. That's it. That's all I do. But, you can go on Google or sit down and, research the Bible yourself if you want to. You'll see how many men in their strife. But I wanted to ask ChatGPT just to give me a summary of it, right? So I answered the question, how many men in the Bible had multiple wives? And it gave me a list and the Bible verses that go with it. So you can, feel free to pause the video and go look at any of these. But for the sake of time, I'm not doing all that for you. So as you can see, it also says polygamy versus God's ideal. While polygamy was practiced, it often led to strife. And then it gives you some examples. Monogamy is the thing that the Bible teaches. So obviously, it's best for you to have one woman, because in the Bible, in that construct, you should only serve one God. So your focus should only be on one, not multiple. Because once you start going off with multiple, it pulls you away from where you're supposed to. You can see Solomon. Solomon was one of the biggest ones. 700 wives, 300 concubines. Solomon was doing too much. Solomon had wisdom. And he didn't follow God's plan as he should. He was supposed to rule with wisdom, and he built the temple. He did kind of two of those things. And he wasn't supposed to be messing with all of these women. That's what he wasn't supposed to. I know a lot of dudes who talk about polygamy. Oh, Solomon had all these wives. Solomon also had a downfall. And that's because in Solomon's older years, that lust and wanting to be with all them women pulled him away from God's favor. And he started following other gods because he fell in love with them women. So his pretty much his worship became of women. He wanted to have all of them because he just wanted to love them. You know what I'm saying? He was a player. Solomon went wrong with it, and it was part of his downfall, as many of these. I asked it, what strife did they have? And I'm going to scroll, so you're going to be able to look at the video and pause. Like I said, look at it and pause, but I won't scroll down. But a lot of them had strife that they struggled with as far as being with these women. And the outcome, it wasn't the best. So when you hear men saying that you should have multiple women, and in the Bible they had it, and all over the world they have it. And you see that a lot of them went through the same things that most men who have multiple women today have. You can even see if you are a person who are rich and you believe that you should have multiple women. You saw the dude at the Coldplay concert. He dipped off. When the camera hit, he wasn't excited about that. He wasn't excited about being seen, but I'm just saying, like, the whole idea of the Bible construct shows you that there wasn't people who that there were people who had multiple wives. Yes, because one thing the Bible doesn't do, it doesn't try to be this book to tell you that everybody just did what was right. It tells you the book is about people doing wrong and how you should correct it. But yeah, they had it. So he's not lying about that. But at the same time, that is not the key to a good life. I'm gonna be honest with you. But that's for me coming from a biblical standpoint. But let's continue.
Is bound to one woman. But if you a great man and you got king attributes and king characteristics, you get to have a queen and 3-4 hoes. They call them concubines. Honest to God truth. Just read your Bible. No, nigga, you supposed to have.
He got to be, and the buddy just laughing, but he got to be like one of the people who just say whatever, man. Like you saying you got king attributes, and what does that entail? For every man, that's something different. That's something that you feel like you are the king of your castle, or somebody that hyped you up, or you don't watch a bunch of YouTube videos and they telling you that you're a king and you need queens and you need to be taken care of. And what does that entail? From what we know from him, he isn't able to stand up for himself a lot. He isn't able to stand up to other people when they have a problem. He's gonna run. So protecting his wives is not something he's gonna be able to do. And he's quick to anger. He's gonna cuss at you. So, it's just one of those things, man. It's just another man trying to find a platform. And you find most people who usually are on these platforms with these people, they just want confirmation. People who applaud this kind of stuff, they just want confirmation to do whatever it is that they want to do anyway. There is no structure. There is no discipline. There is no accountability. They just want to get their rocks off. And that's just being honest. This is all people want to do is live in their sin and love it. So, like I said, this is the second video and we still haven't. There still isn't anything that remotely sounds like a good argument for, being in multiple or having multiple women. It sounds like it's more of a pain than anything. But from the onset, it sounds like men just want to have their way with women, and they don't want to be in a relationship with just one woman forever. They want to have options. And the best way to have options is to have the options in front of you. Well, I want her tonight. Y'all two go and cook food for me, or I want both of y'all tonight, and you just go ahead and go to bed. It's just like it's selfish. It's our flesh. It's a selfish nature to have that. The Bible talks about how we love our flesh and how we want our fleshly desires, and that's what men want. I mean, it's the same thing you're gonna get. Probably different emotions and all that, but women have the same parts. So it's really just about selfishness. All right. Third video. And this is going to be the final video, the third video.
How many times we going to act like having multiple women ain't in a man's nature?
The wife is walking up. The wife is here.
Hold on, come here.
Now, I admire you as a wife.
Now, I will say that I don't necessarily think it's having multiple women. That's not in my nature. I have felt in the past that, I feel like I could be in love with this woman. I feel like I could be in love with that woman. But in the end, it's only one of them that I'm going to choose. So it was never like, I think I need to have multiple women. There were times, before I got on my walk with God and everything and before I even, it was a while ago that I would just think about how the sex felt. And that's just being honest. How would the sex feel? Would it be fun or not? But then if you've ever taken the lust away from a situation and really truly talked to a woman, you would see that there are some things about her that just takes away from that fleshly feeling, because the first thing that attracts you to her is her body or her beauty or whatever. And maybe she makes you laugh, or maybe she makes you feel a certain way, or you love the way she talks nasty. And then you finally get to that point, and you get past that point, and you find out this woman crazy. Or you find out this woman got a lot of stuff that you didn't even cover because she crazy. and she got multiple kids. She got multiple baby dads. You ain't even look at all that because you was looking at her body. And women, y'all get it too when y'all talk to men. Whole time this man done had a hat on, and he take it off when y'all about to get down, and he bald headed in the top, and he got dreads coming down the back, or he got multiple women, and he acts like a player, but he moves from couch to couch. He talks a good game, and everybody get it. It's on both sides, but right now we're just talking about men and wanting to have multiple women, and for this dude to come up and just act like that, and his wife came up, that's a lot. That's a lot, man.
Because I am a wife. But I'm going to ask you, why is your husband coming up here asking that question?
He just wanted to know.
But when men say it's in their nature, when men speak on that, it's usually an excuse for their behaviors that they have. And they don't want to acknowledge that. And we're also listening to men who don't even possess the qualities or the character to be able to navigate that many women.
Now, we just covered that in the other videos. The first two videos we saw were basically two dudes who don't have the capacity to do any of that. One of them is a narcissist, and you can, if you got any level of discernment, you can see that. And the other one, he just talks. He has no plan to back up anything that he says, right? So there are people who don't have those characteristics. Natural leaders already have women attracted to them. It's just what it is. It's just like when men see certain women doing like boss stuff, or she got a good head on her shoulder and she takes care of her business. Like, that's attractive to some men. I know I used to have a thing for women that just worked hard. Like, they didn't complain, and they would just go out there and do what they do what they do. It's attractive to me because I know that if we ever got to a point to where we had to hustle, we both will. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no hesitation. We can get it back. It's not like she gonna leave and go talk to somebody else that has it. She can get it herself. She'll rather be in the times with you and come out of it. And that's what you want. He who finds a wife find a good thing. That is a good thing to have. A woman who is going to be down for you. But these men are not worth having that. Like, this man is out drinking in public and doing all. It doesn't look like he necessarily has a mentality to have multiple women. I don't think most men do anyway.
From a woman's perspective, though.
They don't.
From a woman's perspective.
No, I'm speaking for the men who are usually having this conversation. The men online who are usually having this conversation are not the ones who even qualify to have multiple women to take care of them. When we talk, let me just say this real quick. When we talk about having multiple women, we are not talking about financial provision. We are talking about women. That means that you have to have the emotional capacity, the emotional intelligence to deal with multiple women, different layers. When we talk about women in motherhood, this comes with different responsibilities, different needs and things like that. And most men don't have that. Most of the men who are speaking on this are selfish.
Not gonna lie, that girl that jumped up, she is not who men are looking for. I don't know who she is, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The way she dressed and it kind of looked like she'd have been through a couple things. That's not what men are looking for anyway. But we'll talk about that on another time. We'll talk about that now. There are some women may feel like they deserve a husband, or may feel like they deserve relationship, and it's like men too. Some people don't need to have a relationship, and some people you have done way more to yourself that men aren't going to be attracted to you anyway. If you coming around and you got so many kids and so many baby daddies, that's going to turn men away. But I'm usually those other women who are gullible and they fall for anything that a man says, or they're boy crazy. And I've dated a couple women that they can't, be without a man. They have to have somebody. But women who have a lot of baggage and I'm just saying, I don't know the woman, but that's how we're gonna be in anyway. We're gonna look and we're gonna say, no, I'm good on that. It's pretty much how that goes. But I just had to pause for that because it usually a lot of people stand up and clap for certain things, and you're not going to be in that conversation with most men. And you can say that it's bad to say that or whatever. It's just being honest. When you hold yourself to a high standard, like the ma'am that's speaking now, she would be attractive to most men because she has a strong now. Most men that have something going for themselves, she would be attractive because she is able to speak and speak boldly about something. She's not going to be easily manipulated by a man. So you're probably going to get more men that want to go against her and what she have to say, and women like her. But for me being a one woman man, I'm married. But I'm saying most men would probably want a woman like this who has a good head on her shoulders. And as a biblical man, you're supposed to have a woman that has a good head on her shoulders. And we was just taking this walk on monogamy, and like I said, I was going to tell you at the end, I just feel like men are selfish that continue to talk about this. You really think that there's something that you can give to women, or that that you are just that important, that women want to be with you. And that's a crazy concept to have, especially when you barely making it in life and you don't have any kind of king qualities. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all for taking that walk with me. Like I said, go ahead and comment, like, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do, but make sure you comment and we can keep the conversation going. Till next time, see you on the app.